Welcome back to another show and tell video. Today we're looking at a blank firing adapter for the Swedish AG42 Ljungman rifle, also known as the AG stands for, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, Automatgevär M42. So that would be, I guess, Sweden's standard issue self-loading rifle. One of their first adopted self-loading service rifles. So it's kind of interesting. And what this facilitates is the use of training blank ammunition. At the time supposedly used a wooden bullet, and this would be called, again I might be mispronouncing it, Losa Patrona. So the information I have was not a lot to go on. Basically the product description from when I ordered this from Liberty Tree Collectors. Feel free to check them out. Large variety of items. Liberty Tree Collectors. That's where I got this blank firing adapter. Their description is what I basically just went through right there. And another source that's good is the ForgottenWeapons.com actual website for Forgotten Weapons. And if you look up the AG42 Ljungman, you will see Ian's video on there, as well as you scroll down the page, you will see manuals below the Madsen catalog. There are actually two manuals, and if you kind of scroll through the pages of the PDF files, there is actually some mention of using a blank firing adapter, although it does not specifically reference this exact model. So I'm not sure of the actual installation procedure, disassembly. So anything I'm about to do now is purely a mock-up, because I don't have an AG42 and I don't have anything handy at the moment that would actually be the correct dimensions to actually install this. So I'm going to use this purely as a position reference. So coming into view is a barrel. This is actually a Mauser with the sight hood removed, and nothing loaded. It's just a barrel. And Ljungman looks a lot different here, but basically I wanted to show the muzzle, the front sight area, and the barrel itself. Just those three components in general, not the exact parts, but just the positioning of them in reference to each other. So in the manuals on the ForgottenWeapons.com website, they mention that there would be an actual muzzle, what they call a muzzle either plug, which isn't actually a plug, is actually a cylinder that is inserted into the barrel. And what that does, it completes, I believe, the locking process of the entire front sight locking assembly. And with that plug, you can then also remove that and then replace that in the original AG42 with a blank firing adapter, which would then use the wooden bullets. This one, I believe, may or may not be the same. This, I believe, is used for the B model, which is set up a little bit differently. As you can see here, there's an extension which will actually go down the barrel, and these threads would actually mate with threads inside the barrel itself, to be able to, I guess, screw the whole unit into the muzzle itself. So this does not fit, but let's say if I do a little bit of positioning here. Let's assume that this has already been screwed down into the barrel, so we are now flush with the blank firing adapter against the barrel, assuming that everything is all concentric and not as misaligned as I have right here. What this portion here, which actually rotates up and down, is actually the locking mechanism to make sure that this does not rotate out of position, and this will rotate down over the front sight assembly here. So you can see the shape of how there's two wings, each one would go around the front sight assembly, and as it folds down would then lock with this U area combined with the wings and this portion here. The whole kind of gate mechanism would come down and then lock into position on the top of the front sight assembly. So it will look something sort of like that with this whole unit on top of here. I know it sounds a little weird, but that's the best I can do without having an actual Ljungman here. But, getting back to this, so we can see here, this is actually open-ended here, and what happens is, as the blank ammunition, even though there is no projectile to go down range at full velocity, there's actually, of course, driving gas to as a result of firing the blank cartridge, and that gas has to go somewhere. Part of it goes through and runs the action of the Ljungman, of the self-loading action, but the rest of it is still traveling down the barrel and needs somewhere to go. So it's funneled through here, this tube, through here, and then exits inside this bell housing, which is then the gas is diverted back and then escapes out these larger vent holes around the bell housing here. So there's a lot going on in just this piece, and it does have quite a bit of weight to it. I would estimate this at about, without putting on a scale, 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds. So it's all metal, and it's got quite a bit of heft to it. So magnetizing, let's see, I just happen to have this, and you can see quite magnetic, everything, every component, steel. So, and it has to be able to resist any corrosive effects of the gas and heat and elements as well in the training environment. But as you can see, this also rotates freely so that this can be positioned and then attached in the most convenient manner. So, and there's one marking that I can see here for AG. So for the AG42 Ljungman, the Swedish self-loading rifle. This is the blank firing adapter for, I believe, the Model B. So feel free to leave any additional information in the comments below. They would be helpful, I'm sure. This has been another show and tell video. Feel free to check out other show and tell videos on the channel on vintage milsurp tools and expanded topics. We also do unboxing videos as well as a selection of book review, media reviews. We also do a series called Curios for the Curious, videos on more artsy type objects. Feel free to check all those out. Feel free to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. See you next time.